Hi everyone, it's Chris here from the Southwest Shooters, and in today's video we're going to be doing a comparison between two what I think are very iconic guns. We have, new to the channel, a BSA R10 in 177. This has been loaned to me by my good friend John Whitehead of Holbrook Farm Shooting, and we're going to be comparing that BSA R10 to the classic Walther, the RM8. You'll notice that this has got a silencer on. This is Professor Ballinger's gun, and it was his birthday recently, and I bought him a silencer for it. So there you go. Now, because we listen to your comments and your ideas and your critiques, I'm going to be using 3 different varieties of pellets to do this test. All right? And they're going to be 3 varieties of JSB. There'll be the RS version, the 8.44 grain, and I think the 7.44 grain. So 3 different weights of pellet. And you're going to see how they group. All right? I'm at 30 meters for this test. And here are the groups. I will begin with the R10, and then I will alternate to the RM8. Then I will switch backwards and forwards. And you can see what it's like. Thank you very much. Let's get on with the test. Alright, so what we have first up is the R10. And I'll always do the target on the left for the R10. So these are the lightest pellets that we have. These are the RS Diabolos, and they're a 7.33 grain. Let's see what the group is like. Okay, so that's all right. I'm going to hope for better when we start changing the pellet. But what I'll do now is I will get the RM8, and I'll do exactly the same thing with those exact pellets, the RS Diabolos. Let's see what happens. Okay, so here we have a Walther RM8 with the RS Diabolos inside of it. Let's see how it groups. Get off! Sorry, a fly or a dragon flew into my face. Alright, so they are both pretty much the same. Nothing too spectacular yet, but what we'll do is we're going to try and investigate the next brand of pellet now, and these are the Express Diabolos, and these are slightly heavier. These are 7.87 grain. Now what I'll do for consistency in the video is I will put a new target up, and I will do the RM8 first, and then I will do this gun, and then I will do the same thing with the last 2. So other than me talking in between shots, no more talking from me until the end. See you soon. Okay then guys, here we have the 7.87 grain JSBs, and let's see what we can do grouping wise here. That's a shame, the pellet seems to have jammed. Just going to take that out. Yeah, the pellet did jam, so I'm going to load another one in. Sorry about that. I'm going to continue. It happens sometimes. I think that was my last shot. Yes. So I can see that that is a much better grouping because the gun obviously prefers these pellets. Let's just fire that one off safely. And let's do the same thing with these new pellets with the RM8. Let's do the same thing using, I keep forgetting, the exact Express Diabolos 7.87s using Professor Ballinger's RM8. Not a good start. So that to me doesn't look like a good grouping at all. But in the name of this test, I'm going to keep it like that. Then the final pellets that we're going to be using are the 8.44 grain exact Diabolos. And now these are the ones that I normally use in my videos. But it would appear that the R10 particularly likes those pellets. Let's see what happens. So up finally now are the standard pellets that we normally use on the channel, which are the 8.44 grain JSBs. So I was very impressed with how this gun grouped the last pellet. Let's see if I can... It's already jammed. That's frustrating. Ah, there's a reason why. I didn't lock the thing in. Apologies. Whoa! Oh my god, that's all over the shop. It doesn't like these at all. Yep. Two more. Want to get this over with. Good grief. Okay. So this gun does definitely not like the 8.44 grains. Wow, that looks like a shotgun went for the target. So what we'll do to complete the test, let's do the same thing now with the higher mass, the 8.44 grain pellets in the RM8. But this gun does not like those pellets at all. That is a terrible grouping. Let's continue. All right, final test. These are the heaviest pellet in the RM8. These are the 8.44 grain exact Diabolos. Okay, now this is very interesting indeed. So my first, apart from the first one, which I'm going to say was a flyer, the grouping with those pellets in this gun is, I'm happy with. I was going to use the word exceptional, but I think that's a little bit too self-congratulatory. But what we'll do is, we'll summarize everything now, and I think this has been a very valid and useful and valuable test. Let's go. This is going to be my conclusion and summary of this comparison between both of these guns. Now I've got a second camera running down here so I can actually talk through the groupings, and I think that's going to be really, really important for this video, because I think rightly there's been some critique of using the appropriate pellets for the gun. And now I can't go through every single pellet that's ever been manufactured because I don't have the finances to resource that. And I think that if a gun doesn't group well with a variety of JSB, then it probably says something about something else other than the pellet, let's put it that way. So first off, we have the RS Diabolos here. And as a comparison, what could I use around me as a comparison? I use my thumbnail. So that's okay. That's all right, I suppose. It's better with the R10, I think, by quite some margin. I think that there's a few letting it down with the RM8, but you know, it's okay. You can hit a spinner fairly consistently. Now, this is the one that was really surprising. The Express Diabolos, so they're the middle weighted ones, I think that grouped exceptionally well on the R10, but it didn't group at all well on the RM8. It's like a line, and I'm not very happy with that really. But when we go to the last pellet, which was the 8.44 grain, it's almost a reversal. That grouping there is atrocious with the R10. That is not a good grouping, and it would be criminal of me to suggest that that was representative of the gun, because it's not. Whilst on this one, with the exception of that flyer at the start, or it could have been my technique, okay, I'm open to the fact that I'm not perfect, that grouping there is very similar to the grouping, aside from the flyer, or the two flyers, excuse me, of the Express for the R10. And I think that's really important. So I've just shown you how important it is to get the right pellet selection for your gun. Now this is a versus video between the two guns, so what I'd like to do just to finish up is just to talk about them both, because I think that's a really important thing to do. So I'll begin with the gun that's featured most heavily on the channel, and that is the RM8. So I think that the issue might be with this gun is that I'm experiencing a few too many flyers, okay, pellets that aren't going where I want them to. Now that could be a consequence of the pellets, it could be bad luck, it could be random, I'm not really sure, all right? But you know this gun fairly well because it's featured a lot on this channel and it's been featured in our most popular videos. And it's still amazing. For the price, I think that you can't really go wrong. It's very, very quiet with the moderator on, and it shoots very, very nicely. A little bit heavy, possibly, for being stood up, but a really solid gun. Now the exciting thing is, I think, talking about the BSA R10. This gun is a monster. All right, I'm exceptionally impressed with this. I would go so far as to say that this gun is amazing. Okay, it's fantastic. And I just want to talk to you about some of the things that make me say that. So first and foremost, it's a nice, well-built gun. Okay, it feels very, very solid in the hand. It's a Manelli stock, and Manelli are an Italian make, and they, I believe, do the stocks for Daystate, and the little butt pad here is exactly the same one that is on the Daystate Red Wolf and the Pulsar, and I think that's interesting. I haven't adjusted it, but it's exactly the same butt pad, And I would say that the stock is just as beautiful and is just good a quality. I believe this is a variety of walnut, and you won't be able to see it on camera particularly well, but it has a lovely figuring to it. We call it like flame maple. Flame, not flame. And if it was a guitar, it would be flame maple, flamed walnut. But it looks absolutely beautiful, and it's really nice to hold. When you fill this up to a full charge of 232 bar, I mean, I must have shot, goodness me, 150 pellets through it, and it's just approaching 100. So you're going to be able to get at least 160 to 170 pellets from a full tank, and I think that's amazing. The trigger is beautiful on this. I think that it will be okay to dry fire it just once on camera, but if I put that and I do, so the first stage is nice and tight, really solid and really defined. So then when you're at your first stage, you know that just a little bit of pressure and then your pellet is going to be fired, and that's what you want. Nice and crisp, really beautiful to hold, and really nice to use. I had a couple, if I'm being honest, of pellets getting jammed. Now that happens from time to time, and it's very easy. Once that happens, you undo the little latch at the front there, the magazine will come out, and then you can deal with it. So it's not an issue at all. Probably the biggest thing that I really like about this gun is the cocking mechanism. I'm more used to the kind of side lever actions that are on the wire arcs and the day states. Okay, so this is, although it might be old school in as much as it's the older system, it feels unbelievably smooth. You'll notice that this is a right-handed stock, but if I shoot stood up, I always shoot left-handed because it's just my style. So that's a little bit sharp on the cheek for me, but I can use it and it's comfortable and there's no problem at all, really. The gun is lovely and silent. It has a shrouded barrel and a moderator installed, and I think it's a fantastic gun. I'm exceptionally happy with the grouping at 30 meters with the express pellets. And what I thought I would do is, as just a little bit of a finish, I'll take this out to, where's my marker? That's 30. I'll take it out to 40 meters, just for some fun at the end, and we'll see what it groups like at 40 meters, just to finish up. But the BSA R10 is a very good gun. Now, I think that if you are looking for maybe an upgrade from maybe a gun like this, this would be the perfect one to at least consider. For me, this is a better gun than the RM8. Okay, I still love the RM8, I think it's fantastic, but this is twice the price. So you would kind of expect, if the fairy tale of you get what you pay for is true, which in this case it is, this is a better gun. Whether it's worth double the price, I'm not sure, but it's absolutely fantastic. Now, the final thing that I want to say is, what this video test has really proven is how important it is to get the right pellet in your gun. It's very hard to believe that this grouping here and this grouping here are from even the same gun. This does look like it's from a shotgun. Okay, that's atrocious. That I'm happy with. So we know from this experiment that the R10 likes the Express and the RM8 likes the 8.44 grain Diabolos. And that's cool. Like, that's why I wanted to go through this experiment and use 3 different types of pellets, because you guys suggested it. So just to finish up, I'll take it out to 40 meters with the Express pellets, because we know at 30 meters these work the best. I'm not going to re-zero in the gun. I'm just going to put another target up, and I'm gonna see what the grouping is like at 40 meters, because that's a big distance. Thank you for your support. Ian will be featured in a video soon, and thank you to John Whitehead for letting me use this gun. It's a fantastic gun. I've learned a lot from speaking to John. He's a fantastic ambassador for shooting in the United Kingdom, and I'd urge you to check out the tuition that he offers at Holbrook Farm Shooting. You're going to learn a lot and have some fun, and you'll even get an opportunity to use this gun as well. So let's take it out to 40 meters, enjoy the sunshine, and we'll see you soon. Take care, safe and happy shooting. Bye bye. So to finish, as promised, I've taken the rig back to 40 meters, and you can see that I've got 3 of the splatter targets of varying sizes down there. Now, I'm not going to zero in the gun for this distance, so if I hit the bullseye, I would need to shoot above it. But for this first target, what I will do is I'll aim as close as I can do anyway on the target. So what I think will happen is the grouping will be below it because of the drop of the pellet. That makes sense. And if I wanted to compensate for that, I'd have to use a bit of holdover. So let's see if I'm right. Okay, so that's quite a nice grouping. But because there's 2 more splatter targets left, what I will do is I will do a little bit of improvisation, and I will see if I can hit the bullseye of the next biggest one by holding over from what I have learnt from that first group. Now, I'm gonna make an excuse, and you can flame me for this if you want, it really makes no difference. This is a maximum of 12 scope. I think it's like a 4 to 12. Now, I'm used to using things significantly higher magnification than this. Make of that what you will, but for me it does feel rather alien. I'm not very used to it. So what I will do now is I will go to the one that is on the the left hand side, and I will see if I can hit the bullseye. Goodness me, this is difficult. Concentrate. I'm happy with that. Some of you guys won't be, but I don't mind. So what I will do, just because we're here and I've got the ammo, I will do the same as I did right at the start on this final target. I'm just going to go for the bullseye because I've got something to aim for. It's very difficult with this scope because, as John informs me, it's a hunter scope. That means it's got just one thick X and Y axis. The plane of the reticule is just a thick line with the cross in the middle. So it probably isn't ideally suited to target shooting, but I'm making do with what I've got. It's the gun, it's the scope that works really well on this gun. So finally what I'll do is I'll just do the same thing again, but maybe I'll just take a little bit more time, and maybe, oops, that pellet may get stuck. So here we go. Final grouping. Goodness gracious. Actually, I'm going to give it a couple of clicks up. 3 clicks up, just to compensate. No, he's gone and missed it. I'm going to go down again. And back up 2. Oh. Okay, a little bit sloppy there come the end, but it's actually a little bit harder than I anticipated to concentrate for that length of time as well. Again, I'm making excuses. I don't care what you think. It doesn't make any difference to me at all. That was good fun. Very, very impressed with those groups at this distance. Maybe we could get a better pellet or a more suitable pellet and it would change again, but for the time being, there you go. There's a fairly extensive test there of the BSA R10. A fantastic gun. Take care and I'll see you soon.